All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I got my co-host Brian Gold here,
How's it going, guys?
and we got our new friend
Dr. Jordan.
How are you guys?
Jordan. Thanks for being here, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for Y-strapping me.
Yeah. Great experience.
Amazing experience. Jay almost fucking dropped the camera, but
Yeah.
great experience.
And for those out there listening that don't know what a Y strap is, why don't you give us a little background on that, and then yourself as well?
Yeah, so it's a chiropractic adjustment, and obviously the thought process is to decompress the spine. And if you think like back to like math, like let's say in middle school, right, you have the x-axis, y-axis. The spine's obviously in the y-axis, and so it's a decompression adjustment to get motion to the spine in a different plane than, different force of vector, pretty much.
Yeah, I felt it
Yeah.
from my head to my tail.
Yeah.
What is the cause of compression in the spine? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot, but gravity obviously one.
Yes, posture's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Right.
We're all hunched over, and
Yeah. How do you move during the course of the day? How you sleep, how you work, how you play, how you move. But posture is obviously probably the biggest thing that, and day-to-day aspect-wise, for sure.
Well, like you said when I was there, sitting is the new smoking.
Yeah, most people, right, who I see in my office, they just sit at a desk from 9 to 5 all day long on a computer, and then they go home and sit, watch TV on the phones.
they sit in a car on the way
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Depending on the commute.
Yeah, we usually do a lot more sitting than we do anything else these days.
100%.
And it used to be just at the end of the day, you would sit down and kind of relax,
Yeah.
and you're more moving around. So we've seen the health of our population decline based off of our habits.
Yeah, it's crazy to say, like, even like going back to just bringing that up, like pictures like you see from like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, like most people didn't even exercise. Most people
Nope.
didn't really follow a specific diet or game plan of that. But you look at photos, most people are physically and metabolically looking pretty healthy looking,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Compared
look at
to
pictures
today,
now,
yeah.
most people are overweight or obese. So you're like, okay, well, something's changed.
Yeah.
And most people stood for a living, no
Yeah.
matter what the trade was.
Lifestyle,
Factory.
food.
Yeah. It's very interesting. In your opinion, is a lot of the aches and pains and the things that people complain about or take pain pills these days for, they are normally like, probably based off of just things being in the wrong places. And
Potentially, like I think stress is a big thing.
yeah.
And obviously how stress compounds in the body, either positively or negatively. Now I think going back to like, stress in general, like there could be emotional stress, physical stress, like a job or sitting, like you kind of mentioned, and or obviously chemical stress, and some of those things we have control over and some we don't. But obviously if that manifests in the body and leads to a point of something, it obviously can lead to either a positive change in regards to your health and or a negative change in regards to your health, and leads to symptoms or warning signals that some may experience. And obviously you're trying to educate people, obviously, how do we be healthy?
Yeah.
And start with the easy things first, then obviously adding chiropractic as a way to like help manage stress and tension, either posturally and or just motion to the spine so you can have a healthy functioning spine. But also what's inside the spine is the nerves and the nervous system, so you want that to obviously be stress-free as possible, so your body then can have the ability to self-adapt and self-heal, self-regulate.
Exactly. You said mental stress. So do you find that heartbroken or people that are in a negative headspace or depressed, their body can actually lock up and
100%, right? I think for me personally, experiencing like lose somebody in your life, or you have emotional stress, it's just way different than a physical stress, and how it manifests is very unique and different, but it definitely is heavy. And I think obviously when your body goes into like any fight or flight mode of stress and tension, typically the natural response is to like clamp down or like go
Yeah.
into protective mode, right? So it could be, like you said, either depression or anxiety or any mental overload of stress and tension can definitely negatively impact your quality of health and overall your quality of life, for sure.
well,
What about all the stigmatisms of, people talking about how going to the chiropractor will make it worse, or cracking your knuckles is going to give you arthritis, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Can we kind of debunk some of that?
Sure.
I'm a
You-
knuckle cracker.
Yeah.
We gotta hear.
I mean, definitely don't crack your own spine, for sure. You see people
Yeah.
like doing like this stuff all the time. Like if you're just moving and grooving, that's fine. But if you're trying to force things to move, the thought process is why. And any joint in the body wants and needs and craves motion and movement, which is the whole premise of chiropractic to start with, and of an adjustment, is to restore motion to the joints. But obviously, from a standpoint of creating that environment, you definitely want to make sure stress and tension's at a minimum, and that can definitely build through posture, life, stress, and tension. But going back to your question, just motion is the key to everything. If the spine's moving healthy, then obviously from a function standpoint, the function is going to be at a high level, and irritation, inflammation, scar tissue formation is probably going to be at a lower level. And obviously, from a standpoint of most people don't see a chiropractor, and so they're trying to get motion through the body by doing something. But a lot of times, the area that's stuck, that's the difference. Obviously, self poppers or self crackers, you're not really moving the area that's stuck. Like I can't adjust myself either, so I go see my chiropractor on a weekly basis. We're trying to find out which segments of the whole entire unit are not moving well. Let's restore function to those, kind of stuck or restricted areas, so the whole unit then can move well and balance is in check and motion's in check and a stress-free environment, so your body can self-adapt and self-regulate. But a lot of times when one area is really stuck and you have a self-popper or a self-cracker, typically you're adjusting or releasing, I guess I would say more releasing the areas above or below this stuck segment. And that's so you get a temporary relief of endorphins. It feels good for a little bit, but then it comes right back. And so, a little bit different, obviously, from a specific chiropractic adjustment. We're trying to, evaluate first which areas are not moving well and how do we work on correcting those things.
So if I crack my knuckles, am I going to get arthritis?
Good question. So from a standpoint of motion, like obviously there's probably a better way to move things in a healthier way, right? But if you're trying to force from side to side or away from like a normal range of motion thought process, that can definitely create potentially negative stress and tension through an area.
All right, I'll still keep cracking.
Yeah.
I had a question. So I broke my toe kicking the couch like a few years back.
That fucking hurts.
Yeah, it was sideways. And obviously I right away I looked down and my toe was sideways and I grabbed it and cracked it back. And it was pretty swollen and messed up. And this just leads into your multitude of things that are happening because the unit's not proper. Then I was at work, obviously nursing that foot or being ginger on it, and I was climbing up a ladder and I hurt my back. And I basically, because I was not walking normally, I was trying to nurse that toe, and then I had this back problem, and it kind of seemed like things were just compounding based off of one little toe in the middle of my foot. It's funny that, obviously it is a unit.
Compensation for sure.
And the littlest thing of a pinky toe or something, and next thing you know, everything's all out of whack, and it seemed like I had one problem after the next, You find that every little thing being out of whack can be very detrimental to the full.
Yeah, either leading to something like that you're saying, right? Because like your car, for example, if your alignment's off in your car and you're driving and it's like always pulling to a certain side, I mean, it's not going to be a smooth ride.
No.
And or potentially, the car's not going to perform to that level and it's going to wear down unequally from side to side. So one of the things that when people come to the office for an adjustment, we're always looking at their feet. And people are like, well, why do you always check their feet, right? Well, you're always looking for balance, and starts through like the feet going up to your hips, which is the foundation of everything, sacrum and pelvis. But you want to make sure that you're, pre-check and post-check, you're trying to create that, that whole unit, like you're kind of mentioning, to be as neutral as possible, so so things can function at a high level.
Yeah, I think when I went in, I was off by over an inch.
Yeah, on I think your right side was like definitely restricted and stuck and pretty short.
Yeah.
Really? Shorter, like in
Oh, it was like substantially shorter.
Wow.
Jay has the clip somewhere, but
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy to see.
So we're leaning to a certain way, or does it matter like right and left hand, or what somebody's
I think so more so like
range of motion?
Yeah, your posture. Like how do you sleep?
Yeah.
How do you move during the course of the day? How do you, your work, your play, your activities, what traumas you've experienced? I mean, your body's going to develop a pattern of something based upon those factors.
Yeah.
All right, going back to like your thought process, like compensation, or like, hey, toe hurts, your body starts moving away from that area to create like a, pattern to help take some pressure off your toe, but now it's like shifting up to your back.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely going to develop a pattern of something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like wearing in a pair of blue jeans. Every pair is going to be different for the individual, unique wearer,
Depending on if you keep your wallet in the back or whatever it might be.
Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, that's something easy that anyone, like any of your listeners, can improve on, is when you sit down and put your wallet in your front pocket.
Because that makes a big difference, right?
Big time, right? Because it all starts in your foundation of your hips and your sacrum.
I read that a long time ago, and I'm not a big wallet guy, but I did remove my wallet or my phone or anything from my back pocket. as I read about that
If your
being
butt bones like sit, and you're gonna be sitting like on an uneven surface, then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're gonna create like a small distortion through your posture, and you're gonna develop a pattern probably negatively away from neutral,
yeah.
and then
Oh,
you're
I can't even carry a gun in that position anymore. Like backside hip and sit in the car. After like 5-10 minutes, I'm like, fuck, this hurts. Just because it's like sitting on your wallet.
There's no comfortable way to sit in a car with a gun in your waist.
Center works.
That's still it's like kind of
Got to pull your pants up
Yeah.
when you sit down.
digging in your gut. You
I'm a
know?
little worried by that position, dude.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I had a question about what percentage of people come into the office and are just super weary of the whole practice. Maybe they had an accident, maybe they're experiencing some pain, and somebody sent them your way and
Yeah.
told them you're a good dude, you need to go see Dr. Jordan. And they come in and they're tense as hell and they don't really want to let you work. I know I've been there in the position before, so I know like first time with a chiropractor is it's a little nerve
Yeah,
wracking
the
for
the
someone.
trust factor is at a high level, right?
Yeah.
Versus like first time you show up, like, hey, who is this person?
Yeah.
I just met you.
Let
Yeah.
me put your neck in a really weird
Yeah.
position.
Just breathe. And I think from a standpoint, like you're always trying to develop like the evaluation thought process, like what's going on, number one. So then you can build some of that confidence of like, hey, I know what's going on and I know I can help you. But every single person is so unique and different. They've had past experiences of either good or bad seeing a chiropractor, and so you definitely have to work with them to help them as best you can, which is always the goal. But I think as the longer you do anything, the better experience you are, and you can definitely build that confidence factor to deliver a great adjustment to help somebody, and not be like, oh my God, they're nervous, so now I'm nervous. Like you don't ever want that, right? Because you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to perform to the level of what you need to help that person improve. But
Yeah.
there's people who 70, 80 years old that haven't seen a chiropractor in 20, 30 years, and their past experience was terrible, and they haven't seen a chiropractor for that long, and then all of a sudden like you're their last resort to help them get better. So everyone's unique and different for sure.
Yeah. I think you have a pretty good personality, so I feel like you get in there and your personality seems very bubbly. I'm sure it puts people at ease a little bit, and they can kind of see that you're in a helpful space.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first step for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to lots of chiropractors myself. I've been adjusted by lots of chiropractors, and there's some that I would never go back to.
Really?
Just because like that was just their personality or their confidence, their technique, their expertise is maybe lacking. But then you've been some other chiropractors that are amazing, right? They have a great they have great confidence, they have a great skill set, delivered a great adjustment. Like you can just feel like that sense of like, okay, this person's going to help me, I can trust them, or like, hey, like this is not going to be good. And then usually if someone is tense during an adjustment and they're fighting you like crazy, like it's going to be hard to deliver a great adjustment, right? So you want to deliver that, or instill in them that confidence factor, like, hey, I can help you, but you guys, you do your best to help, breathe and relax so I can help you.
Yeah. Somebody comes in as a new patient, what's the timeline on like people seeing real results? I know an initial adjustment can normally bring some relief, but
Yeah.
what do you what do you like to see from a patient in like intervals of coming in?
Yeah,
Is it a once a
consistency,
week, 2
right.
weeks?
Everyone's unique from the starting point, but consistency always wins.
Yeah.
And I always tell everyone, like, based upon you've had this symptom for X amount of long or this many length of time, getting worse, impacting your quality of health, impacting your daily quality of life, and all of a sudden you're expecting like, Amazon Prime, one adjustment's going to fix everything. Like you want to make sure you're setting them up for success and also setting yourself up for success. That's not a realistic expectation. But there are people like one adjustment, oh my God, I felt amazing. Like I can sleep, I'm feeling better. But, just that consistency and repetition, then obviously we can have a realistic expectation like, hey, our goal is to make a change to something way better and retrain the function to do better so we can actually, improve our quality of health, but also improve our quality of life.
For someone that's just starting off with you, should they be coming twice a week for the first couple weeks just to get that routine in?
Yeah, most people will have them start 3 times a week for the first month so we can have an expectation of change or adaptation. So I go in the gym, right? If I go to the gym once in a month, you're going to expect it. You're going to be healthier than going 0, but you're maybe not seeing the results you're going to want to see in a month if you haven't had any consistency, right? But I also tell people if you've came in those 3 times a week for a month, we should be getting better. On the flip side, if you're not getting better after like a month of having consistency, then obviously why? Like, what's the thought process of no adaptation to anything better? But we should see change if you have consistency and expect difference to something, you know,
Does that happen sometimes?
like
If somebody comes in and they just it isn't helping?
yes, then obviously you're figuring out from a standpoint: do we need to get an X-ray? Do we need to get an MRI? Do we need to change our game plan, our mode of action?
Yeah.
And even that point, like, okay, we need to change this, or we need to add like a Y strap adjustment, or add like a decompression table, and then all of a sudden, the next month they take that massive leap of even the next percentage of progress or improvement you're looking at. But some people just take longer than other people. Like you kind of mentioned, like in the very beginning, they may feel like better right away, and other people may not feel better until visit like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, until they start noticing a change. But as long as you're like pushing that needle of progress in the right direction, that's the biggest thing we're always looking for.
What's going on with the back pain? Can be some of the most debilitating there is, It literally makes you not want to continue on
Yeah.
anymore. It's that bad, when you feel like you just can't get out of bed. What do you think what is the cause of these type of issues in humans these days? I mean, obviously we talked about the stress
Yeah.
and our
Lifestyle.
sleep and lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
And what is going on inside of the body that is like, is it just things compressed on nerves?
Yeah, so going back to like function,
Yeah.
right? Like, how does a chiropractor impact a positive change through your health in general? You always want to have function to the joints, so having good alignment, which means good motion, good movement, good balance. And if you have those things, you're going to have less inflammation and then less scar tissue formation. So from a function structural standpoint, motion is going to be better, function is going to be better, all those things are going to be improved. On a healing perspective, like what's inside the spine is your nervous system, your brain, your spinal cord, your spinal nerves, which are the master control system of the whole entire body. So from a health perspective, you want to make sure that environment's as stress-free as possible, right? And obviously having a positive change in the joints will then improve function to break up scar tissue and get rid of inflammation, but then also create an environment where we have less stress and tension in the nervous system, where then your body has the ability to self-regulate and self-heal and self-adapt, which is the whole premise of chiropractic care in general, is a self-healing organism, and you're just trying to provide an adjustment to maximize that level of self-healing. But going back to like pain and discomfort, like most people don't take care of themselves, right? Like do the easy things first: sleep, water, nutrition, sunshine, positive mindset. I mean, exercise and movement, be aware of your posture. If you did most of those things, stretch, like most people would be healthy. But most people don't do any of those things, right?
Yeah.
Their report card is an F on sleep, an F on stress, their nutrition's at a D, their water intake's at maybe at a C at best, and then all of a sudden they show up and they realize, or they wonder why they're in pain or discomfort, right? You got to participate in your own health at least and show up. Like, do 80-20 rule, be consistent most of the time, and then you can have a different conversation of expectation to see, hey, your health should be pretty good.
Do you find with the lack of water intake and nutrient depletion by poor diet that it affects how much the joint should or shouldn't move?
Probably hydration standpoint, right? Because I mean, from a hydration standpoint, your body's mostly made of water. So from a dehydration standpoint, every system in the body is probably not going to function as best as it can if you're dehydrated. And then going to a nutritional thing, most people eat what? Not probably organic and anti-inflammatory, very clean diet. Most people eat probably just basic American
Fried
diet,
foods.
which is not very good, right?
Yeah.
A lot of pro-inflammatory foods, from a standpoint of
Sugar,
there
fat,
you go.
fried.
Processed foods.
Flour.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, going back to like the conversation in the beginning, like 40s, 50s, most people were physically, metabolically healthier than we are now as a whole society and a world. And most people's what's changed is nutrition, probably a big part of it, right? Because you go to the grocery store now, you think about most of the aisles, most of the foods in the middle aisles didn't even exist 80, 90, 100 years ago, right? And then it's you break it down even more so. Okay, like you can get a burger and fries and a shake or Coke at McDonald's for $3, but then to cook a organic grass-fed, paleo burger at home, it's like $15 a burger, right, for good ingredients. So obviously, why is eating healthy so expensive? Obviously, well, that's a whole different conversation. But from
It's real food.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. What are some tips that you can give to people out there for just, breaking up the day-to-day grind that you think could help them on their path to being in better shape?
So going like to sitting isn't as smoking. Most people who sit during the course say the easiest thing, get up and move every hour. That's an easy tip that you can change your posture, get blood flow moving through your body, and get away from developing your posture like a shrimp or a banana. You want to be like to get motion and movement through your body in the course of the day consistently. So one tip is just to get up and move. And if you can add stretching or walking or some exercise in between, awesome. But easy tip, just get up and change your posture.
Yeah.
And then if you are sitting, like try to stay neutral. So don't like look down at your phone, computer hunching forward. Like try to stay, hey, neutral eye level position. Like actually sit back on your chair all the way, sit tall.
Yeah.
Like 2 easy tips to incorporate. And then obviously from a standpoint, walking is probably the easiest thing from not even exercising wise, just get steps in. And I think like the number from a number standpoint, like 7,200-ish is like from a scientific research like number of like if you can shoot for that number specifically, like dramatically the diabetes, cancers, like most of the major health issues in our country go significantly down if you can just get steps into the course of the day.
7,200 steps
Ish, like somewhere in that ballpark
Yeah.
range, yeah. So walking, posture breaks, and then the neutral posture. And that's 3 easy tips that are all free
Yeah.
that anyone can do if you can just, hey, be disciplined to make an effort to do those things.
Yeah, and if you wear an Apple Watch, it gives you that reminder
There
as
you
well.
It does. Yeah.
I turned it off.
go.
It's a little
Exactly.
annoying, but it works.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a tracker, but as our family, we try to go for like a 30-minute walk every single night after dinner
Yeah.
and just get outside and just move and then
Breathe and
exactly just breathe, spend time together, get outside,
Yeah.
move.
Do a little stretching.
Sure.
It's nice. How'd you end up in the business?
Yes, my aunt and uncle are both chiropractors, and as a kid growing up, liked to come down to visit and liked the idea of being your own boss,
Yeah.
running your own practice or having your own business, but also just helping people, working with your hands, and just kind of seeing the benefits myself of getting adjusted. I'm like, okay, I could do that. I like that.
Yeah. It's what's the process schooling wise? So it's
you
a
have-
pretty long process, no?
Yeah, so it's undergrad is 4 years, and then chiropractic school is 4 years.
Okay. So
It's a lot of
it's a
school.
commitment.
It's a commitment, yeah. So 8 years of a grind to get to the point where you can start your business.
Yeah.
And then actually the real work's that's where the real work starts, right?
Exactly.
They didn't teach you the business.
No, they teach
taught
you
the
zero,
cracking
they teach you
part.
zero business. They teach you
Yeah.
no like game plans of like, okay, marketing and how to serve people, how do you get people better.
Mm-hmm.
They just teach you obviously how to get your license, how can you get your how do you get your licensing to start pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, the business part is a lot of marketing and making people better.
Yeah, trial by error. Like,
Did you have that moment when you finished school and and you kind of, I know you have family in the business, but I'm sure there was a moment where you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, now I gotta actually go out and
how
do
like
this.
Yeah, how to I think my son was, let's see, when I graduated he was 10 months old.
Uh-huh.
So 10-month-old newborn, married, 250 grand in debt.
Yeah.
Start a new business from scratch, no clients, no money, maxing out credit cards,
More debt.
more debt. You're like, okay, I better figure this out very quickly.
Couldn't be terrifying.
Yeah, so
We talk a lot about business on this show. How did you kind of get over that mental hurdle of, hey, I just left school with 250K in debt. I got a 10-month-old I have to provide for, my wife, and now I'm going to go encumber more debt to take a chance on this business. How did you really get over that to push yourself to the next level? Because as you said, school doesn't teach you the
100%.
business plan.
I mean, motivated, right? Motivated not to, I mean, I always bet on myself, so I know I'm going to put the work in, the effort to grind. Like that's just who I am personally. But from a standpoint of like, okay, trial by fire, okay, trying anything, this works, let's keep doing that. This is terrible, that didn't work. Let's back that. Let's never do that again. And obviously, as you get better and you develop more confidence of doing things, I think, that's made a major leap in my business and development of doing anything. Is just experiencing the worst of from the bottom and developing a mindset of like, okay, well, how do you push and push and push until you find something that works? And then once you do, guess what? Keep doing that. And I think obviously it goes hand in hand of obviously business, but also then serving clients as well. Like it's like, hey, like going back to your question, you're like, well, what would you recommend people to get better? Well, now I know that we can get better if we follow this game plan.
Yeah.
And then same thing with business. Like, okay, well, that sucked. Let's never do that again. And obviously, wow, that was really good. Let's build upon that. And obviously, like the amount of information of any business. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's chiropractic, if it's XYZ business, find people who are successful. And now with like Instagram or social media, you can follow any people, business
Yeah.
and how they communicate, what's their demeanor like what are they doing, and it's, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, just put your own personality and your own spin on it. But obviously you got to be yourself and be you, but then also, try those things and wow, that really worked or that didn't work type of thing.
It's an easier time to be able to see YouTube and see other people in the business or in the walk of life that you're in, and you can emulate them or see what's working for them. So there is information out there, which is great.
Yeah, so I think also one of the biggest things, like on the social media stuff, like I just follow all sorts of business people.
Yeah.
But let's say for chiropractic example, I follow lots of chiropractors.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that like the way he put that to his clients or said that to the video to go out to the millions of people who potentially saw it, that resonated with me, and I like that. And I'm gonna start practicing that. And then all of a sudden you're trying to, because the whole thing is like, yes, you want people to come in, but you also want to educate them the importance of why they need to incorporate chiropractic as part of their healing perspective or health perspective or wellness perspective.
Yeah.
So they keep coming back too, right? So it's a win-win in both regards. You're helping people get better, helping people stay better, but also from a business perspective, you want your clients to be repeat customers, right? And be repeat, coming back in as well, right?
What's the percentage you would say of word of mouth to advertised clients or walk-ins type of thing?
I mean, you're definitely going to have a higher, if someone refers someone in for, hey, Dr. Jordan's awesome, go see him. Like
That's the best
you're
advertising.
going to, yes, exactly. Because they're already pre-sold before they come in, like, hey, this person can help me.
Yeah.
Versus like, let's say you're like doing marketing, like, hey, this guy, XYZ, whatever, picked him on the social media or picked him on Yelp or Google, one out of X amount of how many. Obviously, those things are going to be helpful if you have good reviews or have someone refer them in, or they can see your face like on a video and see your personality, and you can be like, oh, okay, I want to work with that person. I think it's a lot easier now than versus before. Like, hey, Yellow Pages, call this number.
Yeah.
And it's like a crapshoot if you're gonna get somebody good or bad type thing, right?
Yeah.
So kind of blessingness, guys, I think of social media, like they can see your work. You can get like testimonials of people saying good things. You can push like reviews on your platforms to like, okay, wow, he has a website, he has good reviews, he has good videos. I'll give this person a try.
Yeah.
But referrals are always by far the best for sure.
Do you find with how you're creating the content now on social media that it's driven more traffic?
Yeah.
And when I was there with you, you were saying like placing the microphone in certain places really gives you that audible crack so people can really feel what's going
Yep.
on versus just the person being like, oh, that feels amazing versus
Yeah.
hearing that snap crackle.
How does like Dr. Pimple Popper and like, I mean,
Those videos are addictive.
yeah,
by
it's
the way,
crazy.
too.
So
It's
people
gross,
like to
but-
hear like, they like to hear like the
and
crazy.
I find
like,
myself in like rabbit holes of watching them.
What was Jay's sound when I adjusted you? What did he say?
He wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. He was like, oh shit, or something like that.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
You almost dropped your rig.
Yeah. So he was like shook or even taken back by it. But if you had the microphone, and obviously I didn't come up with that idea. Like I was telling you earlier, just find other people who are successful. Wow, that's a good idea. I'm gonna incorporate that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like then you have that someone's like, oh, that feels amazing, but they can also hear the adjustment. And it's like, okay, well, that's awesome. It's a win-win.
Like seeing the Y strap online, I didn't know until I experienced it with you. I was like, that looks amazing, but let's see how good it really feels. And it far surpassed what I thought it would be.
It's a powerful adjustment for sure. So not everyone, I don't do that on everybody, but it's a great tool to have in your tool bag to help people as well. Because some people definitely need that, and some people want that, but some people, they're maybe super stiff or they're 400, 500 pounds. I mean, you got to have different options to adjust somebody when they come into your office, but
It's a little intimidating of a
it's a powerful adjustment, dude.
Yeah.
It's not a baby adjustment by any means.
He's putting the thing around your ear,
Yeah.
strap over your
just
chin.
the whole process. Is,
Again, going
it
back
can
to like,
be
hey,
intimidating.
trust factor, breathe,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Your first experience?
Yeah, even Jay, for as much time as he spends on social media, he never saw a Y strap before and he didn't know what was coming next.
Yeah.
He just thought he was stretching me and then pop.
Like, whoa.
Did you get adjusted as well? No.
He wouldn't let me touch him. He didn't.
No?
He didn't have the confidence in me.
What else you got going on in your life that's important to you?
Family.
Yeah.
But business, when you're the business owner, boss, chiropractor, it's a lot of work, dude. It's work. So
Do you find it hard to balance?
it's a lot of work for sure. So like Sundays, I don't do anything for work. Try to just make sure that's a family day.
Good.
But the ratio of 1 to 7s, or one day off and 6 days on, it's not a good ratio, dude.
Yeah.
So you're on 6 days a week.
We're there 5 days a week, but then usually like Thursdays I'm doing something, right, for the business, either social media stuff or whatever needs to be done, scheduling people or making phone calls or taking opportunities like this, which is amazing. So thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks for
you
coming.
coming.
But doing things that you can push your business better, right? So I was trying to not having a day where, because like Monday, let's say the days I'm working and you're seeing X amount of people per day, like you want to make sure you're giving all your energy and attention to get people better.
Yeah.
But then obviously the business owner,
You gotta
do
you got the business stuff is different than
Paperwork
obviously
and
serving
different
people to get
stuff.
better, right? Like how
Yeah.
you pay your bills and
and you
those
still
type of
gotta
things, right?
nurture your marriage and your kids and all
All
that
those
other
things.
stuff. It's
Yeah.
definitely a juggle.
Success has a price that people don't readily identify.
Yep.
A lot of times.
Nope.
And going back to like mentioned before, like first I had you start from 0 clients, you have no money, but you have all the time in the world,
Yeah.
right? And obviously as you get better, or you improve and change, and you have success, well, guess what? Now there's a higher price to pay, and there's a
You have more money, more things, more bills usually too.
100%. But then
And
you have
you
more,
have a lot less time.
or you have to be more disciplined in your time to like, hey, like,
Actually manage everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and give it its share of yourself. Yeah.
Are there any tools people can do at home to kind of decompress their spine?
I think a lot of the yoga practices, right? Like stretching, yoga practices in general, is something easy that everyone can do without having any equipment, period, right? If you can go on YouTube or Google and type in a at-home yoga routine, or even spend, I always encourage people I get an exercises to do at home, but yes, spend 5 or 10 minutes a day stretching, right? Because I can give 5 or 10 minutes. Everyone can.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do an hour of stretching. I could, but I'm probably just honestly not going to spend an hour stretching. But I know I can be disciplined to do 5 or 10 minutes. But then all of a sudden, 5 or 10 minutes compounds to, in a week, 35 to over an hour of stretching, right? But I think from an easy standpoint of to decompress would just be, like we talked about before, being aware of your posture, getting your steps in, and if you can incorporate like any stretching or yoga practice, that'd be something easy, free, that anyone can incorporate at home.
How do you feel about those inversion tables?
Yeah, I think I like those. Those are good. Obviously, how long can you be upside down before you're getting a positive benefit from decompressing your spine? But if you can do both, right, get adjusted, work on some stretching, and then add the inversion table, that'd be a great game plan.
So the purpose is just to gravity the opposite direction, basically.
Yeah.
And kind of just stretch it all out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about the exercises, just kind of hanging or doing that type of stuff?
Same thought process, right?
Yeah. Those can be helpful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just figured the inversion table kind of gives your neck a little
Yeah.
gravity pull.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm not sure from a standpoint of how long can someone be inverted upside down before the blood flow to their head starts to like, hey, I need to
then
go
you're
back to a
counterproductive, right?
Figure you're good for like 5-10 minutes.
few minutes, yeah. I've personally never done one, so I can't speak from experience. So
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah. I had one at my mom's house forever.
Yeah.
and we have a decompression table at our office, but they're laying horizontal, and it stretches the the neck or the low back, and then the Y strap adjustment's a decompression adjustment.
Any sleep tips for people? Side sleepers, back sleepers, anything that
Yeah,
pillows
Neutral.
neutral?
That's always the goal. Obviously, if you sleep on your stomach, you have to turn your head left to right to breathe.
Yes.
So that's probably
laying on
the-
your back is probably your best bet,
Back or side.
back or side.
Mm.
And then is there any type of pillows or different things? I tend to I sleep on my side, but I tend to get my arm in a weird position, which definitely causes some issues.
Yeah. So when you say weird position,
Usually
get away from that.
Yeah. So
Like neutral, right? So if you're on your back, like the pillow's gonna be shorter in height because obviously the gap to fill the space between your bed and your head shorter versus the space between your neck and your shoulder.
So that's really important, huh? It's finding more of a cube-shaped pillow if you're a side sleeper, probably to support
Yeah, so
you
keep your head
straight.
neutral, right? So if the pillow's too short and now your head's doing this, that's not gonna be good. Pillow's too tall, head's doing this,
Not gonna
that's
be
not good either. Same thing if you're on your back, no pillow, and your head's going back into extension all night, that's not gonna be amazing. And then if the pillow is too tall, pushing your head into flexion, that's not going to be amazing either. So neutral is probably the easiest thing. And then when you wake up, do you feel good or bad? Right? If you feel bad, well, it's either your bed or your pillow or your posture not supporting you well enough.
Yeah.
If you feel great and amazing and refreshed and energized, well, guess what? That's the whole premise of sleep, is to heal, right?
Yeah.
So if you feel great, then you're probably doing things correctly. And if you feel like crap in the morning, then let's make some shifts or modifications of something different.
It might be the thing that we spend money on all types of things in our life to make us feel better or look better or do, but the thing that I think that gets slept on the most is sleep, right? We spend less amount on our bedding and our things of that nature, or pay a very little attention to it, you know?
Or just don't get enough quality sleep too,
Or
right?
not get enough, yeah.
Like most people are up all night on social media, blue lights,
Yeah.
to what time in the morning?
Yeah, it's bad.
Like 1,
Yeah.
2.
I'm not up that late, but I do have my moments where like I spend a couple hours before I go to sleep, which definitely is not good.
I'm usually on my laptop till like 1 or 2.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. In bed?
No.
Okay.
Once I go to bed, I'm
You're
out.
out. Good. Yeah.
I do everything downstairs. And
You got a nice mattress, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be an easy tip right there, is don't have like electronics in the bedroom.
Yeah.
I try not to watch TV in bed, try not to eat in bed.
Yeah, we don't watch TV in bed. I have a TV in my room, but it's never on. I try to stay off my phone while I'm there, outside of it being on the floor for my alarm. But
And then now that after we had Ryan on the show, I keep my phone on the other side.
do you? Yeah.
That one kind of
Is that like with Wi-Fi or?
just keeping as much shit away from your head at
When you
night
sleep,
as
yeah.
possible.
He's a big believer in he shuts down his panel.
to his bedroom.
Like the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
No, like complete power.
Oh, power.
Yeah, he turns it off. So.
And
Yeah.
you can go to that extreme, right? I mean, you can definitely do lesser things too, like just turning your Wi-Fi off, or having like the little like
Those stickers.
the
or whatever.
EMF like blockers, or things that are going to help lower the radiation or the. Let me see.
Yeah, he's next level with it. He like literally shuts down his panel, and they have like off switches and timers
Yeah.
on everything, so that when they sleep, the grid is down, so to speak.
It
you
takes a
know?
lot of discipline.
It does.
From a health perspective, it's probably amazing,
It probably is, right?
but it takes a lot more discipline.
I've seen a lot of studies about
You've been sending them.
people that sleep with like I mean there's this cancer study about people that sleep with their back to like heavy electronics like refrigerators. Just being in an apartment setting and your bed is against the wall that the refrigerator's on. I guess there's some really traceable data that shit is extremely linked to all types of bad things in the body.
I think just a lot of the unknown with that too, right? Because you think of like even the amount of like, let's say, cancers, and the amount of like even at all ages, or the severities now versus X amount of years ago.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not
it's-
getting better.
No.
We've definitely hit a wall somewhere.
So
and
like
we're
obviously
starting to go
there's a
backward.
benefit of having technology, but then obviously the negative aspect is like the unknown of like having 5G towers and
Well, just look,
wireless like stuff going through your walls. And
I mean,
even forget that part. Just look at what you experience in your business from technology. People sitting on a couch, people being on their iPad or phone or laptop. It's forced everybody to mess up their posture.
And that's from a physical standpoint, right? That's not even talking about who knows an
We're not even
internal
talking
aspect
about-
of what's going on.
You know,
I mean, if you go back
mean-
to like the original cell phones, right? Putting the phones to the head, and it shows like the amount of like,
well, we know that all the pioneers of what's it called, X-ray technology, they didn't fare very well, right? They literally fell apart from
well, the energy is going to go
standing
somewhere,
in front
right?
of it. Yeah, you know, they didn't know that radiation was extremely harmful, and they all died a pretty horrible death. I mean, it was a great technology that they built, and it's amazing, and it's done amazing work for people, but they didn't know that, you know, they were just sitting there with the thing on, bro, just hanging out in front of it, you know?
And we're all guilty of it. I mean, everyone carries a cell phone somewhere.
Yep.
Oh,
Like
and
your cell
yeah.
phone's in your pocket.
In my
And where is that next to?
Yeah, it's not a good
Right.
thing. Yeah.
I did start wearing EMF underwear.
There we go.
Did you?
G-string?
No,
No.
full boxer briefs,
Full boxer,
boxer
okay.
brief.
but do not go through airport security wearing them.
Yeah.
Why?
So if you go through the metal detector, you're golden. You go through the X-ray, they can't see anything, so they think you're hiding stuff.
Ah,
So you
nice.
go through a great pat down.
Did that happen to you?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Kevin warned me. He's like, "Don't do it." I was like, "The fuck you talking about?" Kevin's like, I fucking told you, don't do it.
Really, Kev?
Yeah.
They said this dude's got something in his pants.
Oh, dude, they spent like, normally it's like a quick pat, and I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, you guys here so long? And
Like,
then
I
they
don't
showed me the
know.
picture, and I was
You
like,
said you're the one with the big old blacked out dot on
Yeah.
on your
Bend
crotch,
over.
bro.
Bend over,
You
bro.
think I want to be doing this? Man.
but it works.
Before we wrap up, is there any words of advice or anything you would like to leave the listeners or viewers with?
I think that, yeah, get healthy, number one, right? I think if anything taught you over the last few years of our world and what happened is get healthy. Like, take responsibility for your own health and take some disciplinary action steps to get better. And I think you can never go wrong improving those things for yourself, but also for your family.
Yeah.
And if that's just a few major or a few minor shifts, like we talked about, in either nutrition or exercise or sleep, something to improve your quality of health, then you're never going to be upset with the outcome of and trying to improve yourself and improve your quality of health, because it's going to make a positive change for yourself and your family.
I have one question for the viewers. How does someone find a good chiropractor? You know, aside from seeing you if you're in Orange County,
Of course,
but
no.
across the country, elsewhere, how can, because like you said yourself, you've seen some good ones, seen some bad ones, and some that are meh.
Like anything, right? Like if you would go to a restaurant, hey, you have a favorite place to like XYZ, favorite pizza joint, a favorite anything. If you can get like a person who says, hey, I love my chiropractor. He or she's a great chiropractor. I love my chiropractor. Like, if you ask for a referral and they have a great one, I'd always just start there. And you can then, okay, let me look at his social media or Yelp reviews or Google reviews, whatever. But usually if you get a referral from somebody like, hey, I love XYZ, that's a great starting point for anywhere or anybody.
Okay.
And where can people find yourself?
Myself, I'm in Newport Beach, so in Orange County, right by John Wayne Airport off the 405, 55, 73.
I know where you're at. Yeah.
So close by here. And then obviously from a standpoint, social media, if you want to follow us on there, you can give us a follow. I think it's Dr. Jordan Johnson is our handle on most social media platforms.
And I'll put it below so
There we
people
go.
can find it.
It'll.
But
You got any other questions?
We covered pillows, but we didn't cover, if you're a side sleeper, should you have a pillow between your knees?
yeah, so going back to getting like neutral, right? I think even if you're on your back, like putting like a thin pillow underneath your knees to take the slack out of your low back.
Okay.
And then a thinner pillow like underneath your head to stay neutral. And then if you're a side sleeper, the pillow's probably going to be a little bit taller, but you still want to keep your head and your neck neutral. But yeah, like you said, put a pillow like between your knees to keep your pelvis neutral.
Okay.
And then maybe like a thin pillow-ish along your chest to keep your torso away from like curling in, but just to stay neutral as well.
Really? Interesting. That's
And now, is anyone perfect? Absolutely not.
No, but
And do most people move during the course of the night? Yes. But if you can, like, again, go back to like, hey, when you wake up in the morning, do you feel good or bad? And if you feel bad, let's make some minor kind of adjustments before you go to bed just to try to set yourself up for success. And then, hey, work on something. Oh, wow, I feel better. I'm sleeping better.
I definitely need a better pillow. You're right, because I'm always, depending on which one I have an orthopedic one as well, but it's hard to sleep on my side with. But I think that I'm definitely getting a little more action of not being neutral for sure.
But you want it to be comfy. You want
Comfy,
to be supportive,
yes.
right? Like if you sleep on a hard, even if you're neutral and it's hard as a rock,
It's not.
you're not going to sleep good because it's not comfortable.
Yeah, it's finding that balance of
Yeah,
like
you want to find
those
something that's
memory
supportive,
foam.
comfy, and like, yeah, no one's perfect. That's not probably attainable or achievable, but as close to that as you can. And then when you wake up, do you feel refreshed, energized? Okay, awesome. And if you don't, well then guess what? Let's try to make some improvements.
What do you think the thing about hotel beds is? Why do you always feel better when you sleep in a hotel?
Depends what hotel you're staying at, dude.
Yeah, well, nicer ones obviously, but I seem to. You have any theory on that?
Yeah, every time I stay at a Hilton, there's always like a card somewhere that says, oh, if you like the mattress or like the pillows, you can order it from this place.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, there is, huh?
because I'm either at a Hilton or a Marriott.
Yeah, and they tend to be like, I feel like I get really refreshed.
Yeah, and I spend
I don't know if
100
it's the travel or what it is, but
No, there's a difference.
there is, right?
Yeah.
Is it like a
And I feel-
orthopedic type of mattress or
I
something?
feel like it's a different mattress, different pillow, and then I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you lay down on a bed at a hotel, there's different feelings to different pillows, so you can try the different variations.
Interesting.
And then like super bougie places literally have a pillow menu if you want something else.
I mean, I need to stay at nicer hotels then, dude.
I'm on the road
Yeah.
100 plus days a year.
I will say that as I've aged, food, travel, and like I'll go out of my way to stay at a better hotel. You know, I definitely
You don't get away with those things as much as you get older, right?
Yeah, no,
things are
you know,
more
when I was
important.
young, I was like, whatever, Best Western, Motel
I'm gonna
6.
sleep in the car.
And don't get me wrong, I'll sleep in if I gotta sleep somewhere. I'm gonna sleep. I'm a survivalist, but I'll go out of my way to find
Something
upscale
nicer.
hotel in any place.
It's worth a few extra
a little
dollars,
more
right?
boutique. Yeah, it's definitely worth the money because you feel better about it afterwards. You know.
Well, I was just in Tijuana last week, and there was a hotel literally connected to the one I was at, and it was an extra $15 a night. I was like, fuck it, let's try it. It's like a night and day difference compared to the last place.
$15.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, a couple hundred goes a long way.
Yeah.
Tijuana, that's like.
You're living large, dude.
I think it was like $140 a night or something.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, compared to any hotel in America.
Okay. Well, Dr. Jordan, we appreciate your time. Thank
Yeah,
you
thank
for
you for having
coming.
me, guys.
I know you guys
Appreciate you
have a busy
coming.
schedule. Thanks for the information and the knowledge you shared with all of us and those out there listening.
Go see a chiropractor. They'll help improve your quality of health. They'll
Yeah.
help improve your quality of life. Pretty simple.
Put it into your practice of your
Wellness,
health
maintenance,
routine.
health routine,
you're
for sure.
Concerned about you know, getting better and being the best version of yourself, that's
100%.
definitely something that could help.
And any consistency is better than zero consistency, right?
Exactly.
I like it.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one.